Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Look, let's start off. I thought the guys went out there and competed, played hard. Definitely room for improvement. All week we've been talking about this game doesn't count, but it does matter. And it matters from an individual point of view and also from a team point of view. And, all that matters really is the guys in those rooms. And it's not just me, it's we. And that's my message to the team.
Raise your hand. We'll pass mics to you. Start with Chris Price.
Jerod, can you walk us through the thought process behind using the quarterbacks in the way that you did tonight?
Yeah, we wanted to see Jacoby obviously go out there and operate, as well as Drake, mixing them in there with the ones. The rest of those guys like Zappy and Joe, they went out there and finished up the game, thought they did a good job, but that was kind of the thinking. So next week we have the Eagles, so we'll practice against them, and who knows, the reps will probably change a little bit, and then we'll see what happens in the game. But that was the thought process. Take care.
In the middle.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you can,
No.
Jerod, you mentioned getting Drake into the game. What went into the decision to pull him after one series tonight?
Yeah, that was always the plan. The plan was to get him in there for one series, to get Jacoby in there for one series, and then really, it turned into the Zappy show and then the Joe show. That was the plan going there.
Hi, Jerod.
Take care.
Was there any trepidation over having Drake in another series perform in front of with his the second offensive line? Was that part of the decision, or
that's always a consideration. If he's in there, you want him in there with the starting offensive line. We got to protect that guy. Not saying we don't have to protect the other guys, but that absolutely did go into it.
and do you feel you're going to get enough of seeing him in live action, going about it like this?
Yeah, like I said, this is the first preseason game. We still have 2 left. He'll have plenty of opportunities to go against other teams, the 2 other teams before the regular season.
Jerod, just your thoughts on what you saw from Joe Milton? Are you ready for also Sports Talk Radio fever to hit all week with Joe?
Well, first of all, I don't even listen to that stuff. But honestly, look, Joe went out there. We know he has a big arm. He has the athleticism. He's getting better with his reads every single day. He has natural leadership ability. But once again, it's not just about one game. It's about the full body of work. So you can come out here and play well, but you also have to do it on a day-to-day basis in practice. And you got to gain the confidence of not only the coaches, but also your teammates. And this was a step forward for him.
Hi, Jerod.
Hi.
I was just curious. Obviously, you said the plan was to do one drive for both Brissett and for May. What came down to the decision to pull Zappy when you did and to put Milton in when you did? Was there any thought process behind that?
Yeah, it was just about opportunity. It was about opportunity. And Zapp went out there. Look, he's won games in the NFL before. But then just putting Joe in at a time where we needed a spark, and he provided that spark, which I thought was good.
Duke Castiglione in the middle.
Jerod, what was it like for you, first game as a head coach?
Yeah, I just felt like I was just in my element. I felt great to be out there. Nothing else really mattered to me. And, when you don't have to worry about substitutions and things like that, you kind of see the game from a different perspective, which I thought was great for me today. And it was the first time I really got a chance to, experience that. So hopefully it keeps going the same way. And, we do a good job with the subs, with our assistant coaches, and I can kind of focus on the game in totality. It was more excitement. It's almost like, when you get on a roller coaster and you just hear that click, like click, 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 and then you get to the top and it kind of is go time. At this point, you're so far along, we have nowhere else to go. So I wouldn't say butterflies, just excitement and pure joy, honestly.
Josh Brigadier.
Jerod, any players specifically that exceeded your expectations going into tonight, just the way they showed in the game?
Honestly, I need to go back and watch the film. The easy answer would be Joe. Joe went out there, and it's been a long. I don't think we've ever seen a quarterback here run around as much as he did and still was able to get the ball down the field. He's one of those guys, so it was Joe.
On your far right.
Jerod over, all the way right.
Far right.
Keep going.
Sorry,
Hey.
I didn't know they were over there. There's like empty chairs out here. All right.
I just wanted to, it's kind of preseason for you guys on the coaching staff as well. First time out, I was just wondering how the communication and all that kind of went for AVP, DeMarcus, everybody.
Yeah, I would love to tell you that the communication was 100%, on point, but there are definitely things that we need to work out. But for the most part, it was pretty clean.
season, you talked about the progress that you'd seen Jeremiah Farms make over the course of his career in New England. What did you see from him tonight in terms of putting it together on the field?
Look, anytime he steps foot on the field, he takes advantage of that opportunity. His story is remarkable. A guy just on the street, and he was here. We moved him to fullback. He played defensive tackle. He played guard. Played all those positions. When you find a player that just loves the game of football, no matter what the coach asks him to do, it's a great player in my mind. And Farms displays that.
Dakota Rain on your far right.
Jerod,
Far right.
after pairing Drake with the top offensive line tonight, do you anticipate giving him more time with the top line in practice this week?
I mean, look, the reps, that's something to talk to AVP about. At the same time, I would say this is a huge week for us against Philly. We'll see what happens in practice and then also in the game, but he's ready to go. When he's ready to go, we'll put him in.
Chris on the far left.
Jerod, you mentioned that that Joe's performance stood out tonight. Just curious, what role does preseason games versus, say, practice play and and training camp play in the evaluation process, where you're trying to get a total view of how a player, whether it's a quarterback position or another position, can affect winning and make a squad?
Yeah, we always say there's nothing more important than practice. We continue to stress the importance of the process. Obviously, you would want that to show up on the field. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but practice is the number one thing for all of these guys as far as the evaluation. It's not only on the field during practice, but also in the classroom.
Hey, Jerod, just a quick question. I'm right over here.
I'm getting blinded. Oh, all right, here we go.
Hey, Jerod. Just some quick thoughts on the defensive line. Thought they got after tonight. Played with a lot of energy. What were your thoughts on those guys?
Yeah, they played with a lot of energy. We were, I would say, as a whole, the most physical team on the field today. And it starts up front. It starts with the offensive line. It starts with the defensive line. I thought those guys performed well.
Final question, Dan Roach in the back.
Jerod, you talked about this being a big week with Philly coming in for the joint practice and the game. How will you use your joint practice with your ones and so forth going into this week?
Look, we want to see what these guys can do. If it's ones versus ones, that's one thing, but you also need to see what your second string and third string can do against some of their good guys. So, I'll talk to Coach Sirianni, and we'll have a plan of what we want to see. I'm sure he wants to do some things as well to evaluate his own team. And then, the game is also very important, so we'll see how it goes. Thanks, guys.